Welcome to Moray's Muse. My name is Moray. This is an anti-AI generated history channel. I'm Moray, a real woman, not an avatar. And we talk about real history, not AI generated history. So today we're talking about the biography of Lucan. Lucan, who is famous for his poem Pharsalia, came from a very good family, great noble pedigree. His uncle was Seneca the Younger. His grandfather was Seneca the Elder. And him and Nero had a very good relationship until Nero forced Lucan to kill himself, age 25. So we're delving into the biography today. Let's talk about Lucan's early life. Marcus Lucanus is born in 39 CE. He's born in the Roman colony of Hispania, modern-day Cordoba in Spain. His family, the Anai, they were the pinnacle of a noble family in the early days of the empire. Whilst Lucan's parents had great social standing, Lucan was the nephew of Seneca the Younger and the grandson of Seneca the Elder. And this was a good lineage. Did Lucan's education prepare him? Lucan studied Stoicism, like most did back in the Republic and early to mid-empire. He studied under the Stoic philosopher Cornutus, and Cornutus' house in Rome served as a major cultural center for Stoicism in Rome. And Suetonius states that Cornutus and Lucan were companions. So I know what Suetonius is alluding to: a young boy and an older mentor. Cornutus had a huge influence on Lucan. A Stoic value is truth-speaking, and this Stoic value is said to have led Lucan to his death. Obviously, Lucan also studied in Athens, where most went. Athens was the most cultural place outside of Rome. Lucan's career begins in the court of Nero. So, Emperor Nero ascends the throne in 54 BC, and before Nero got the reputation he had, Nero didn't start off as bad. Nero was really into the arts. He was really into poetry. Seneca the Younger, who was Lucan's uncle, mentored Nero, right? So Lucan got into Nero's court through his uncle, essentially. Nero holds the Neronian Games in 60 BC, and we can see that Lucan performs a poem dedicated towards Nero. It's a work composed to praise Nero. And because of this pleasing that Nero got, or the fact that Lucan was a sycophant, and Nero gives Lucan a quaestorship quite young. He bypasses the legal age to do so. Lucan's poetry and Lucan's work in general was in touch with the imperial program. The work that Lucan wrote was so flattering to Nero. In Bello Civili, you can see the famous dedication, asserting that the horrors of civil war were justified because they led to Nero's reign. And actually, even though modern day historians, we know how much of a bastard Nero was, some still view Nero's early reign as being quite peaceful. But Nero and Lucan's good relationship did not last too long. Suetonius states, out of artistic boredom, one time, Nero walks out of one of Lucan's poetry readings. And this deeply offends Lucan. Tacitus states that it was possibly Nero's jealousy because Nero wanted to be a poet. He wanted to be an artiste. And he walked out because he was jealous of Lucan. Regardless, Nero was Neroing. And Nero issues an edict banning Lucan from public readings and performing in legal or public settings. So, for a poet with Lucan's dreams, this was devastating. It was professional and personal blow. Lucan saw himself as a Roman intellectual in training. He wanted to be one of the best, and Nero just cut him off. However, let's talk about the Personian conspiracy. Nero's leadership starts to become despotic. The execution of Nero's mummy, Agrippa, the PR girl, the starting of the suspected Great Fire of Rome in 64 CE, and the persecution of enemies, Lucan becomes one of Nero's biggest critics. The Personian conspiracy is led by Gaius Calpurnius Piso, prominent statesman and orator. And the Personian conspiracy is quite big. very diverse group involved. Senators, equestrians, and soldiers are involved, and some of the members of the Praetorian Guard. Piso was said to be the replacement for Nero. There was going to be a coup, but it's said that participants such as Lucan really missed the Republican ideals. People told Nero what was going to happen. A woman called Epicharis tried to subvert the commander of the fleet, even though she told the palace about the conspiracy. She was tortured. She was tortured. People were starting to become really scared. Word started getting out. The plot finally collapsed when Milichus, who was a freedman, he told a master of what he thought was going on after being told to prepare goods. In 65 CE, Nero initiates a purge. Lucan is arrested, and according to Tacitus, finally succumbs to the pressure of interrogation. Now, here's the thing. Lucan wasn't the only family member who was involved in the Pharsalian conspiracy. Lucan's own mother was too. Lucan told Nero that his own mother was involved. Like, to get a pardon and save his life, he informed that his mother. He informed Nero that his mother was involved. Now, historians do not like this. They say it's Neronian propaganda to make Lucan look like a snake. Lucan and his father are forced into suicide. And actually, Lucan's mother, who Lucan told on, was spared. But that's the mystery with this accusation. Lucan's death at 25 years old, according to Tacitus. Age 25 is like a huge tragedy for Rome. But Lucan is ordered to commit suicide in quite an ugly way. Lucan was open to order his veins and bleed himself to death. While Lucan is passing, he recalls his last words are from his poem, Bello Civili, that describes a soldier dying from a similar wound. And Lucan's death became his own performance. Lucan's most famous work is Pharsalia, which is Bello Civili, and it details the civil war between Caesar and Pompey the Great, which I think the Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great beef is like some of the most petty beef in my head. For me, is hilarious. I don't know why. I can just imagine themselves chasing each other through Alexandria. Lucan is said to follow the tradition of like Virgil and Ovid. Pharsalia, or Bello Civili, is seen as the anti-epic. While Virgil talked about foundational myths for Rome, Lucan portrays the quarrel between Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great as a destruction of Roman identity. And also, Lucan's work doesn't include Olympic gods, like no gods. There's no divine machinery. It's pretty harsh. So anyway, Lucan's legacy, his popularity peaks apparently during times of upheaval. And to the Americans who were founding America, Lucan's work was very revolutionary, literally. It was very revolutionary. But not only this, Dante was a huge fan of him. You know, Dante, Doc Dante. I call him Doc Dante because like the stuff that Dante wrote is about hell. It's just, like, I can't be bothered. The Republicans in England, they were against the monarchy, and they used Lucan's Pharsalia to oppose royalty. So yes, in conclusion, Lucan was just another casualty of Nero, and Nero didn't give any thoughts for anyone than himself. But we have learned that Nero's early reign wasn't as bad as it has been stereotyped to. Thank you for watching this video.